that I did on my go-kart. Well, the first one is the exhaust system. The second is the intake manifold, and then the intake. So we relocated the oil cooler, and then we relocated the battery, and we put in a gas fluid and electrical. And we also put in a better new carburetor. And it's running really, really good. Right onto the tree.
Your bumper did, or you did?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
And then my second accident was the bumper to go-kart to go-kart accident. So I was again going like 32 miles an hour going down the straightaway, and then I cut through a turn. I didn't see the other go-kart until it was like 5 feet away from me, and then we just went one-on-one battle. So,
You guys head-on collision, huh?
uh-huh.
Who was that with? Me. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So let's see what kind of damage has happened on that one.
So when I had to steer like this just to go straight, and last time.
Why don't you point at the bumper where you hit?
Like a little here.
No, it's right here, Goob.
Oh.
This whole section.
Right here.
So we slammed into each other, going pretty good. I wasn't moving, but he was doing pretty close to top speed. He was about 30-something miles an hour. Came in and smashed this bar here. This is supposed to be straight. This one right here is supposed to be straight, and it's definitely not straight.
Wait.
And you can see the lower mount is ripped off the frame. That's definitely not supposed to look like that. You can see the upper control arm is actually hitting the brake pedal. So yeah, we got into a good one. Fortunately, he was wearing a helmet. Everybody had their seatbelts on. Let me see your neck. Yep, little strap burn. It was pretty crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But did we keep driving after that for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the other story when you and your brother went down into the canyon? What happened then?
So we went down the canyon. I was following behind my brother, and then once we turned around, came back, and then there's this muddy part along the canyon, so we went up that, and he got stuck in the muddy part, and he was trying to go up, and all he was doing, and at the edge, there's like this straight on drop down, and he was going
sliding right off to the side. One of the things that we found out on these little go-karts is that how we've been using them isn't probably what they were designed for. The parts are very cheap, and the whole hub assembly, there's splines inside that hub, and they slide onto the axle shaft, and the hub, all the splines completely wore off. So it was basically just turning off of one wheel, and he wasn't getting enough traction, and it was forcing the rear end to slide out sideways because only one side was pushing it forward. On Breck's go-kart, this one, I just threw these bolts in. They're a little long, but I had there's a sleeve shaft on it, which is why I got them that long, so the threads wouldn't lock down and tighten around it too tight. But these, both sides, I had a part of the bolt was still hanging in on one side, and the other one was totally gone. So by the time he came back up the hill, the whole rear end had shifted sideways. It was only holding on by one partial bolt and the two shocks. And he came up basically dragging the bottom of the go-kart and going sideways as he came up the hill. So yeah, these I would say as a recommendation, check all your bolts, make sure everything's tight, or not tight, but snug, before each time you take them out if you're using them fairly heavily, because otherwise you're gonna have stuff come apart, guaranteed. But yeah, we have bent wheels, broken suspension parts, and but gaining a lot of experience, wouldn't you say? And you're still having a lot of fun, huh?
yeah.
So we're gonna partially as long as we're not crashing too often.
Yeah.
We're gonna take this go-kart and rip the frame all apart and build up the roll cage and make it a lot stronger. This roll cage is kind of garbage, kind of like what you talked about in the last video. So, well, in one of the videos, these roll cages are more cosmetic than they are function. So we're going to take this one off, completely redesign it, fix the suspension parts, put in heim joints, get rid of these old plastic bushings and put something a little more beefy in there. And yeah, for this cart, we're just going to beef it up a little bit, but otherwise keep it what it is, because for his age, you're 8, right? It's more than enough go-kart for an 8-year-old. In fact, I don't even think they recommend, what's the recommended age for this go-kart? Do you remember? 16, yeah. So for a 200cc go-kart, this is way more than enough. It does a really good job, especially with the upgrades. It runs really good. He can hit just about 40 miles an hour. Probably closer to 45, 50 when he's going down a hill, because it really picks up speed. So my recommendation, definitely don't go overkill on these. It's good for these little guys as long as you don't go, you know, too over the top. So anyway, that's it. Thanks a lot. Say goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. A slight incline, it's going to kind of go. Ooh. A slight incline, it's going to kind of.
My brother and I really appreciate you guys watching our shows.
If you wish to contribute towards these projects or want to have your go-kart related products featured on this show, please contact us using the information below.
Thanks for watching.